What's good, family? It's your boy Governor Jay back presenting facts over fiction to give you the knowledge that you've been missing. When you come on the channel, make sure you put your emotions to the side and hit that like and subscribe. Now, family, I'm going off the cuff here. I usually like to type up what I like to say and get it right before I put it out, but a little frustrated or whatever. I'm gonna put this out here because I was on another brother's live stream, a brother who I respect a lot. You know what I'm saying? I have no ill will to this brother. Like, I really respect what he do. I follow him. I share his content. I seen him at the rally for reparations, everything, right? But he put out a challenge. And he mentioned, show me footage of, he named a few people, Malcolm X being one of them. Show me footage of them using the term African American. He was saying that Jesse Jackson created it in the 80s, which is not accurate, but it's all good. Like I said, we present facts over fictions here, and I'm a history channel, so it's like I'm gonna give you the raw history, like the truth, like you know what I'm saying. I'm not here to revise history, none of that. You know what I mean? I got a lot of footage of Malcolm X using African American in the '60s, right? As you can see the date on this particular clip here, which I'll start in a few, but I just need to say this first. Basically, I'm not condoning Malcolm X for what he says in this clip. There's a reason why I left this clip off of the previous video. You know what I mean? Because he's talking a lot of Pan-African talk, right? He was a Pan-African. You know what I mean? And I know we like to crap on Pan-Africans nowadays. I respect that. I'm not Pan-African. But what I'm not feeling is the revisionist history where these people weren't Pan-Africans, or some of them were, and we want to shun some of them, but some of them we want to still celebrate and just try to act like they wasn't Pan-African. Like, nah, I'm gonna give you the whole story. Like, and I'm trying to tell y'all, when you come on this page, we're gonna learn from the ancestors' mistakes. So when Malcolm X is talking about them Africans are our brothers, he ain't really know no better, because back in them days it wasn't too many Africans over here. Now we see the get down now. All the ancestors was fighting to bring over Africans back in the day because we thought they were going to be on our side. 60 years later, we see that they're not on our side. So it's all about learning from the ancestors' mistakes, not revising the history or not crapping on them later on, because there was a lot of riders that fell for that. You know what I'm saying? And I want to address a couple comments that I got on that previous last video so far. You know what I mean? I got one comment from a brother that says, "Happy birthday to the Pan-Africanist Malcolm X." Here is a quote from Malcolm. That's what we are, Africans who are in America. You nothing but Africans, nothing but Africans. In fact, you'd get farther calling yourself African than Negro. All right. And he made that comment under my previous post, and I replied back to him just saying, what are you getting out of this, brother? How are you going to fault the man for making a mistake that a lot of riders and soldiers fell for during those times? And of course, he ain't really speak up about that. You know what I mean? And like I said, we here to learn from the ancestors. We're not here to crap on them. You feel me? We're not here to shun them, or we're not here to lie and tell a different narrative either. Another comment I got which wasn't as sarcastic or whatever, was this other brother right here that says, let's also remind FBA and ADOS that Malcolm was a proud Pan-African. And I replied to him, yes, he was. I have mentioned in previous videos that on this channel, we don't fault the ancestors for doing what they thought was right at the time and to learn from their mistakes, like I just said. So I just wanted to put that out there, fam, because I know that I'm going to get a lot of pushback. I already knew I was going to get some pushback by leaving a specific clip in that previous video where he's talking about Africa. And he mentions we're African and American. I was going to cut that out, but I felt that the actual clip itself had some credence to it. And I'm going to make a video just based off of that clip alone. But I'm putting this video out first just to prove that Malcolm X used the terms African American in the 60s. We're talking about some 60 years ago he was using this joint. It wasn't created in the 80s by Jesse Jackson. You know what I mean? Like, that might have been when it got blown up. That might have been when the government coined, when the government attached to it and said it was cool. But like I said, Malcolm was using it back then. So this is the day after Malcolm's birthday, at least when I'm recording this video. Y'all might see it a couple days later. But It's the day after his birthday. Like, what we doing? What we doing? We celebrating the brother or we not? Because we got him, we celebrating him, but at the same time, we want to say he wasn't these certain things. Let's just tell the truth. You see what I'm saying? Let's just tell the truth. So yeah, man, I felt the need to make this video because you know, I was in the brother's chat when he made the challenge. I told him, you know, I got footage all day of Malcolm using African American, and then they blocked me out the chat. So I don't know if it was the brother whose call was. I know he was on there talking, so I don't want to say it was his call, but of course his moderators were probably the ones salty or whatever, right? Because I ain't just going along with the narrative. Like I'm about the truth over here. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you're gonna get. That's why I tell you, put your emotions to the side when you come over here. So man, without further ado, man, let's play the clip, man. This is one clip, man. I got a whole bunch of them, man. But it's not. Here's the thing, man. And it ain't on me. I'm not trying to prove nobody wrong here. We're just talking the truth. You feel me? I wasn't going to put this out because we ain't using African American. We rejecting it. That's why I wasn't going to put this video out. But just due to the fact that things went down that way, I'm like, all right, you know what? Put the video out. And it's not a direct challenge. I'm not calling the brother out by his name. I respect him. You know what I'm saying? But you know, a lot of these influencers, you know, who I follow, come on, man. Can't agree with everything they say. I'm smart enough to know that a lot of, let me not say a lot, man, but some of the stuff that they be saying ain't true. You know what I mean? And it ain't on me to like crap on them, you know what I'm saying? But I know they got a lot of followers who just listen. They don't do no reading. They don't do no research. A lot of FBAs who ain't into that. You know what I'm saying? So you can go ahead and tell them anything and they just gonna rock with it. This is what I'm just saying, man. The collective self-esteem is so low that if you get somebody going out here telling you a whole bunch of like, oh yeah, everything is so great, they going to run with it. You know what I'm saying? Even though they know it ain't true. You know what I'm saying? I got a clip on my shorts of Dr. Claude Anderson. Everybody loves Dr. Claude Anderson, right? Dr. Claude Anderson tell us, hey man, if anybody come here telling us that we doing great and we winning and we doing all this other stuff, he lying to you. This is what Dr. Claude Anderson is saying. Now the same people talking this way will quote Dr. Claude Anderson, talk about how great he is, but a lot of the other stuff they say is directly against what the brother preaches. And like I said, and over here we telling the truth over here. Man, play the video, man.
Do you plan a second trip to Africa?
Well, Senator Paul Douglas of Illinois told me that the Africans weren't interested in the American so-called Negroes, so I'm going to make a three-week trip into Africa to find out how our people over there feel about us. Actually, I already know how they feel about us.
How do they feel?
Well, they realize that we're their brothers, and I think that they realize that we realize that we're their brothers.
Will you actively seek support in some way from them? Expressions of support?
Well, I think that the Africans have already expressed support of the black people in this country, and the more they know about our problem, the more they are inclined toward supporting us.
Do you think this could have any adverse effect on American diplomacy in Africa?
I don't see why it should. I certainly wouldn't say anything in Africa that's not true. If telling the truth will affect American diplomacy, then America has some very bad situations existing here.
When will you go?
Well, at this time, I'd rather not say, but I intend to be over there within the next couple of weeks.
You also mentioned tonight the demonstration Corps plans in Brooklyn, planned by Brooklyn Corps, to tie up the traffic around the World's Fair. Do you feel that's a good demonstration?
Well, I just finished making my statement that I'm not against anything that anybody does.
Are you actively asking them to go out in their cars and try to block traffic?
I repeat that I'm not against anything that anybody does to bring the spotlight of the world upon the human rights violations of 22 million African Americans in this country. And I can think of nothing that would spotlight it better than if it became impossible for
What do you think the World's Fair demonstration might prove?
Well, I can think that nothing would bring the spotlight of the world or the attention of the world upon the human rights violations of the 22 million African Americans more so than tying up traffic that will make it impossible for the fair to open up.
Something that will get worldwide publicity.
It'll bring worldwide attention to the fact that America is guilty of violating the human rights of 22 million African Americans.
On another subject, what do you think the meaning is of the 250,000 votes that Governor Wallace got in Wisconsin?
The 250,000 votes that Governor Wallace got in Wisconsin shows that white people in Wisconsin are no different from white people in Alabama.
All white people, or 250,000 of them?
Well, there were 250,000 who were not afraid to go on record. And there were many more, there were probably millions of them who thought the same way that Wallace thinks, but who didn't feel that they should bring their thinking out at this time.
Would that make you think that a Negro political party can't win? It's hopeless?
I don't know what you mean by a Negro political party.
Are you not forming one?
We are. Our social and economic and political philosophy is black nationalism. We spread the philosophy of black nationalism, and once it wakes black people up, they'll know what to form in order to bring about some justice in this country for themselves.
Do you think you might be hopeless?